Hello, my name is Ilona. Today is Thursday, April 27, 2023. And there was some sad news about a Dutch vlogger. I think he also made some videos in English as well. His name is Stephen Walker, also known as the Maestro from Stephen's Real News Corner. Unfortunately, he had to go to the hospital. He had, I think, a certain aneurysm, if I'm not mistaken, but he can still communicate, and I hope everything will turn out fine and he's going to be all right. But it's very sad news. It's also King's Day today here in the Netherlands, although it just doesn't mean very much to me anymore at all for quite some time now. But it means that the day people here are a day off and there are celebrations and things going on, and I believe the king is going to show up somewhere in the Netherlands. Not that interested in that, but I just wanted to mention that. It's a long Dutch tradition. First we had, of course, Queen's Day, which was April 30th. And now we have King's Day, which is April 27th. Actually, he is born on the 27th of April, King Willem-Alexander. His mother before that wasn't. She, the Princess Beatrix, she was actually born on 31st of January, if I'm not mistaken. But because it's so cold around that time, they kept the birth date of her mother before her. That would be Princess Juliana. And she was born on April 30th. So they kept April 30th as the Queen's Day. Of course, something happened on the Queen's Day a couple of years, which was very strange because it kind of coincided with the fact that Willem-Alexander was going to take over. And so they've decided, and it wouldn't surprise me if that there was some planning behind that. So now they were going to celebrate on his birthday, which was very close to April 30th, but to not be, associated with what happened on Queen's Day, April 30th. I'm not sure the year exactly, but it was in Apeldoorn. I believe a car drove into a crowd and it was really awful what happened. Seems a bit calculated if I think about it now, looking back on it. But so they changed the date now to his actual birth date, which is of course very close in April. So that's why we now have the 27th April as King's Day. But it's just interesting how that all worked out. But the energy for the first country I'm going to look at is the Netherlands. And of course I shuffled the cards in my Dutch video. And the first card is the Seven of Cups. The central card is the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the past. We've got the Six of Cups underneath the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Two of Cups and the Page of Wands for the future. And this is interesting. So there's a lot of confusion going on here. There's a lot of pressure to push through these climate rules. Of course, with nitrogen, with the farmers, we now, our Minister Jette from Climate and Energy, that should tell you all you need to know about this minister, has come up with new rules and regulations. Of course, in the EU, we've got also Timmermans working there, trying to push through, also someone from the Netherlands, trying to push through those climate things. I think he pushed through a few things that had to do with the carbon oxide. I think the budget that is connected to it. So we'll have to wait and see, but all this climate BS, I really hope it will stop. But unfortunately, there's a lot of confusion going on, and that is necessary. I think this is part of waking up people. I also saw the back of the deck, by the way, that was Judgment. Thought that was very interesting because this is the card for me to wake up people. Literally, you see people standing up, and I think it's very necessary now. All these things happening here in the Netherlands, and of course worldwide, but I'm looking at the Netherlands, is to wake up people, to show them something is very wrong. Just pushing all these climate things when people barely have any money to make ends meet, barely have money to pay for food, and now they just want to push up those prices again and push it up. You have to pay more, you have to pay more for this, you have to pay more, you want to have a car, you want to, it's just getting ridiculous. And this has to do with waking up people and the confusion. There is so much confusion going on. I also see that this is part of the plan, especially with the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles in the past. So this to me is necessary. So finally healing can begin. And of course the Whiteheads, it's all part of it. I already explained in other videos. You cannot tell people what's going to happen or what, it's being done actually. If you look at what happened the past 3 years, no one would have believed you 4 or 5 years ago if you were mentioning this. And there were people already awake saying that this was going to happen. Everything came true, what they said. But nobody listened to them. Nobody believed them. Everyone thought, oh, they're crazy. They have no idea what they're talking about. But they needed to experience it. That's the problem with a lot of people, that if they don't experience it, it's not true for them or it doesn't affect them. So people need to be affected to really wake up and start wondering what's going on. And of course, it is up to each and every one of us to wake up or not to wake up. That's everyone. Everyone's choice is up to them. And I already mentioned it yesterday in my shadow work video, how the energy is working, how things are changing and how it's affecting people. But some people just want to remain where they are, and that is a choice, of course, that's completely up to them. You cannot wake up these people. But I think the Whiteheads are creating as much confusion as possible, because then people will start asking questions and there is a possibility to wake up. So that's what I'm seeing here in the Netherlands. Healing needs to be done, but I'm seeing this 6 of Cups as well. So things with children are going to come up more and more. And I fully understand that the people are asking, like, why isn't this just brought up? Because again, a lot of people don't believe the things that happen to children, the things they are being used for. It's beyond their imagination, so to speak, or it's beyond their belief systems. So if you would bring that out right now, all the rituals and all the, substances that they use children for, it's not going to work. People will not understand it, will not be able to wrap their heads around it, won't believe it, and immediately will be like, no, it's not happening, unfortunately. So you have to bring this out in phases, in stages, so people will be able to understand it. And of course, there will always be people that will not want to have anything to do with that. But these things need to come out, but they need to come out in a certain certain order. Otherwise people are going to reject it right away. But things are going to come out more and more about the children. Of course, we still have the missing children involving that tax scandal, and there's so much wrong here with the social system to help children. More and more things are coming out. But it is necessary that it's done in stages, unfortunately. But there's a lot of confusion. But I do see healing energy in the Netherlands. I do see things already changing in a better direction. That's the feeling I'm getting. So I also looked at Belgium, the energy of Belgium. And the cards I've got was the Moon. That's the card above. The central card is the 5 of Pentacles. Card in the past is the 6 of Pentacles. Underneath the 5 of Pentacles, we have the 5 of Swords. And for the future, we have the 4 of Pentacles and the Strength card. So especially with these 3 cards, there is a lot going on in Belgium. There are, of course, a lot of organizations that are placed in Belgium, like the European Union and other vague constructions. And we see a lot of confusion and illusions and fear coming up. We see that people feel left out in Belgium, feel like financially they're not going to make it. There's this very grim energy at the moment. It feels like it's getting very grim. And unfortunately, we are really in the part of the tough part of the entire thing that's going on, the Great Awakening. We really are at the tough end. So we still don't really see at least I see the positive changes, but I can understand for outsiders or people are not completely tapped into this, and even people that are see it differently. That's why there are different perspectives. Always see what resonates with you. This is my perspective. But a lot of people just don't see anything going right. They just see the negative. They just see everything is going wrong. And that is also necessary to wake people up. So even in Belgium, it's very high tension. I think the energy is really changing, especially with all these cards. These are very tough cards. I think a lot is happening now in the energy in Belgium. And it's necessary so the people in Belgium start holding on to their own energy and not giving it away anymore. So they can really step into their strength. This is all necessary to show people what's happening with their energy, what's being manifested through them by giving away your power to all these governments and organizations outside of themselves. Of course, this principle is worldwide, but I am again talking about Belgium here. But it's very important that they start really holding on to their own energy, because this is a spiritual war and we're going to win it there. It starts with our energy. It starts with that's why I focus on the shadow work or the light work, how you want to call it, but that's the most important job. That is how we're going to get out of this. If they don't have our energy anymore, everything is going to collapse and we can start using the energy for something we truly want, for a world we truly want. That's why that is so important. But I see ultimately Belgium stepping, the people in Belgium stepping in more and more in their own power, holding on to their own, own energy. But it's going to get very grim. There is things going on right now. The last country I want to look at is Germany. And this is the first card. Again, Judgment, waking up there. And we have the Knight of Swords as the central card. We have the Hanged Man in the past. We've got the King of Wands underneath the Knight of Swords, and we have the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Wands in the future. I think that they have stepped into, the white hat corner. There has been a lot of talk about Germany stepping away. If I'm not mistaken, they're already not paying NATO anymore, and they are really in full force more and more against the European Union, more and more against NATO, pushing back. That doesn't mean they're immediately going to just say no to everything, but you can just see things are changing. Of course, there are still some dark energies in Germany, but I do think that the white hats have pretty much taken over control there. But of course, there are still dark energies they need to work with, and they need to watch out what they're going to do. But I think that Germany is really going to push back against what's going on, against these dark energies, against the European Union. We're going to see it more and more, and this is all about waking up, not just Germany and the people in Germany, but also Europe, and trying to get more countries to their side, so to speak. So, and this is also about healing. I think there is a lot of pain that needs to be healed in Germany, in their history, and this is an opportunity to face that, to deal with that. So there is so much going on energetically wise, but I think in Germany they're really more and more white hats are really taking over there, and I think we're going to see more and more pushback from Germany against the European Union, against NATO, and against things happening there. And of course, a lot of things about the stings are coming out in Germany as well. So this is very interesting. More and more. It doesn't mean everything comes out, but it has to come in stages so people can take it in. Unfortunately, that is what we have to work with, and to make sure that there's not too much panic, because if you give information to people that people cannot handle, they're going to push it away, they're going to resist it. It could drive them crazy, so to speak. It can completely, get unhinged, and then you have a bigger problem at hand. So I think this is all part of a plan to make it a smooth transition as possible. I do believe that we're heading towards a scary event, and of course things will happen then, but I think they are preparing preparing people as much as possible for when that happens, that there won't be a complete chaos going on. Chaotic chaos. Well, that's beautiful in itself, but just a big mess when things are going to come out, and that people will be able to handle it. That's what it feels like to me, like this is a preparation. So I'd like to leave it at this, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.